As the crowd was about to continue their search, it was like a drop it like it's hot show, and Victor went to audition, finding a key. It turned out to be the key to his own house, and things were getting weirder and more unbelievable than a comedy horror flick. To top it off, the cruise ship's restaurant was stocked like a buffet for foodies. Victor asked the time, while Gray chimed in it was 11:30. The Jess watch and the wall clock said 8:17, but he chose to ignore it. It felt like everyone was in a bizarre play about time. While everyone was lost in confusion, Jess turned around and spotted a shadow zoomed by like a ghost on a mission. Victor rushed after it, but lost his ghostly chase in the hallway. Parade decided to team up with Jess to find the captain, leaving the Nick couple for some abandoned couple drama. Jess kept stressing that staying on the ship was like setting the stage for Titanic 2, The Reckoning. Suddenly, they heard a water sound, and following it, they entered room 237, where the bathroom mirror ominously bore a message. Gray thought it was a prank and insisted on finding the captain first. But Jess figured someone was trying to send a secret message, leading to their debate of differing opinions, parting ways. Meanwhile, the Nick couple, who should have stayed at the restaurant, stumbled upon a trail of blood leading to the horror movie corner, and they followed it straight. When Jess returned to the restaurant, the Nick couple had disappeared, and the once fresh food was now rotting like it had a bad case of food storage. Just then, he heard a door creaking behind him and quickly hid behind a pillar, feeling the tension of hide and seek. In came Victor, dripping with blood like he just joined a life or death race, grabbing Jess by the neck, leaving him utterly dumbfounded. In a panic, Jess grabbed Victor's head, pressing down on a wound, and Victor took a curtain call. Just then, a gunshot rang out, leaving Jess stunned. Following the gunfire, he entered the theatre to find Gray shot. On Jess' arrival, his angry interrogation made it the most suspenseful scene ever. At this moment, Jess was astonished to realize that it was a masked individual who had fired the shot. Oh boy, this was truly an unbelievable and bizarre twist in the plot of the Everything Store, and shortly thereafter, the masked individual dispatched Nick with a single bullet. Jess rushed to save Gray, but both fell, forcing Jess to regretfully exit. Jess started up to the upper deck, but the masked figure lunged at him from behind, like a scene straight out of a thriller. The masked figure threw the gun, and Jess felt like he was literally flying high, but he got up to keep running, grabbing a fire axe for some defensive act. When Jess reached the bow, the masked figure reappeared, facing off with Jess' assault. The figure was as clueless as a deer in head. At this moment, Jess was the last survivor, but before he could catch his breath, he heard background music. Entering the cabin, he found a record player spinning tunes like a retro DJ, making Jess feel like he was trapped in some absurd banquet. Suddenly, Jess heard a crowd outside shouting for help, and as he approached the door, the cameraman nonchalantly walked through the mirror. Jess was stunned by the surreal scene before him, realizing that the figure they saw was himself. But wait, why was his key on the corridor the first time he boarded the cruise? What really went down when Victor chased that shadow? Why did he choke himself? And who was the masked figure claiming Jess shot Gray? Why did he mean to take everyone on the cruise out? Stay tuned for the looping plot to unravel this mystery. To make it easier to differentiate Jess roles, he'll replace his name with numbers. The main view will still be our original Jess, and we'll call the newcomer Jess. When Jess realized his companions were already on board, he quickly sought a hiding spot. As everyone entered the cabin, Jess too felt like the hallway looked oddly familiar. Jess was incredulously hiding around the corner as everyone debated about Eloros. Suddenly, Jess' key dropped to the floor. Fearing he'd be discovered, he had to swift away and accidentally wandered into room 200. Unbeknownst to him, the mirror noted the theatre he needed to stay hidden to spy. Jess quietly hid outside the dining room, just as he spotted the reflection of a figure in the mirror, and Victor rushed to check. Jess ran out onto the deck in despair, feeling as hopeless as if he were in the climax of a drama. Suddenly, he saw seagulls picking at Nick's body, with a blood stain on the railing. Clearly, Nick was thrown overboard. Those were mission seagulls. Victor's voice echoed behind him, and Jess quickly ducked behind the wall. Victor was on a shadow chase. They unexpectedly ran into each other, and Victor clearly couldn't grasp the mystery exuded by Jess, feeling an instant confusion akin to that of Alice in Wonderland. Jess tried to prove his point by pointing at Nick's body, but it had sunk into the ocean, like touching a mysterious drawer of secrets. At this moment, Victor was thoroughly baffled by Jess' explanations and thought his brain was playing a bad joke. Jess tried to explain the backstory, but accidentally shoved Victor against the wall, causing an unexpected injury. The scene scared Jess away. Back in the hallway, he saw double Jess and Gray, as if time rewound. Jess was clueless on how to face it, and sank into despair in the changing room, pondering life like a philosopher. Unintentionally, he spotted a crumpled piece of paper on the ground with the warning, "Truly the work of a fierce scholar." All the papers bore the same handwriting, clearly indicating an organized plot, and he hastily jotted down fresh notes for comparison. To his shock, he discovered it was his own handwriting. And in the changing room, he spotted the masked figure's clothing. What a plot! Remembering what the masked figure said before, Jess found himself in a dilemma, finally deciding to drop the right or wrong debate. Jess sat crying blankly on the floor when he suddenly spotted a necklace with a picture of him and his son. Cue the emotional moment. Below the grating lay many identical necklaces, like a necklace battle royale. This was proof they had experienced endless loops, and Jess was determined to break free to reunite with his son. Armed, he aimed to halt the tragedy, only to meet two in the dining room, a self-feasting peak.